One day, in a magnificent kingdom, there lived a king named King Theodoric. King Theodoric was known as a very fashionable ruler who was extremely obsessed with clothing. King Theodoric owned millions of robes, silk cloaks, diamond-studded shoes, and hats of various kinds and styles from all around the world. In the palace dressing room, the servants were busy every day helping the king try on new clothes.
I will never wear the same outfit twice. Clothing is the symbol of a king's greatness.
One day, two swindlers came to the palace wearing unique clothing and claimed to be the greatest tailors in the world to meet the king. One of the swindlers said,
"Your Majesty, we can create a magical robe just for you. The robe we make will be crafted from a special fabric that cannot be seen by fools and can only be seen by those who are wise like you. Your Majesty."
The king was astonished and said,
A robe that can distinguish the wise from the foolish? Incredible. Make me a robe from that fabric. I want to wear it during the royal parade.
The two swindlers were immediately given a luxurious workspace, expensive fabrics, and a large amount of gold. But of course, there was no magical fabric. They merely pretended to work, sewing into thin air. Day by day passed. King Theodoric grew curious about the magical robe promised by the two swindlers. He ordered his prime minister to inspect the progress of the robe. The prime minister peeked into the swindler's workspace but saw nothing at all. He thought to himself,
I don't see anything. But if I say that, the king will think I'm a fool.
A short while later, the two swindlers came to see the king, pretending to carry the finished robe. They asked,
"Do you like our work, Your Majesty?"
The king was a little confused and thought to himself,
It seems I don't see anything, but there's no way I can admit to being a foolish king.
So, in a loud voice, the king responded,
It's truly magnificent. I can't wait to wear it during the parade. I will look like the greatest king in this kingdom.
The big day finally arrived. The entire kingdom gathered in the square, not far from the palace. The square was filled with colorful flags, crowds of people, and the sound of marching band music. Inside the palace, King Theodoric stood in front of the mirror, wearing only his undergarments. The two swindlers draped the invisible robe over his shoulders. The swindlers said with sly smiles,
"Truly magnificent, Your Majesty. This robe is perfectly fit for you. You look even more majestic and wise."
The second swindler added,
"This robe will show just how grand Your Majesty is as the ruler of this land."
King Theodoric nodded slowly, though in his heart he was confused because he still couldn't see the robe on his body. However, the flattery made the king feel more confident and determined not to appear as a foolish ruler who couldn't see his own robe. In the end, the king walked out of the room nearly naked and ready to mount his horse to begin the parade. The palace residents were bewildered by the king's appearance. However, they all remained silent, unable to say anything. Suddenly, a shout came from a young child in the crowd, pointing at the king.
Why is the king not wearing any clothes?
Everyone fell silent. Then, One person in the crowd started laughing. Soon others joined in, and in an instant, a wave of laughter spread throughout the entire city. The voice echoed,
The king is naked!
The king stopped in his tracks. His face turned red with shame as he realized he had been deceived, but he was too proud to turn back. With his chin held high, he continued walking back to the palace, still wearing only his undergarments, his pride shattered by the humiliation. From that day on, King Theodoric no longer obsessed over clothing. He began to reform himself and started listening more to his people. In the end, King Theodoric became a wise and respected ruler.